The world felt different the moment everything changed for Peter Parker. The city he once knew, the people he loved, and the life he had built all seemed to exist just beyond his reach, like a dream fading after waking. Standing in the bustling streets of New York City, Peter watched crowds move past him, unaware that he had once been a part of their lives. Among those faces was the one he missed the most, MJ, the girl who had once been his world. It hadn't always been like this. There was a time when everything felt possible, when dreams were within reach. The memory of stepping onto the campus of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, still lingered in Peter's mind. It was supposed to be a new beginning for him and MJ, a future built on hope and shared ambition. He could still hear her teasing voice, telling him to stop pretending he wasn't the happiest person alive. And she was right. He had been happy. Happier than he had ever been. But happiness came at a cost. Peter remembered the moment everything fell apart. The chaos, the fear, and the impossible choice he had to make. Something terrible had been coming. Something that threatened not just the city, but the people he loved most. The only way to stop it was a sacrifice that no one should ever have to make. He had to let go of everything. He had to let the world forget him. Now, standing alone, Peter whispered the words he had repeated countless times, as if saying them might somehow bring his life back. He introduced himself to strangers, hoping for recognition that never came. "My name is Peter Parker," he would say, but the response was always the same: confusion, polite indifference, or complete disinterest. It was as if he had never existed. Yet beneath that quiet loneliness, another identity still lived, because Peter Parker was not just an ordinary young man, he was Spider-Man. And being Spider-Man meant never truly being alone, even when it felt like it. The city still needed him. Crime didn't stop just because his personal life had been erased. If anything, the danger had grown. One night, while swinging through the streets, Peter found himself crashing into an unexpected threat. A speeding van came out of nowhere, forcing him to react instantly. He leapt into action, stopping the vehicle with his webbing and strength, only to confront the confused driver behind the wheel. "What the hell?" Peter muttered, pulling himself up. The situation felt off. The man, identified only as Frank, seemed disoriented, almost afraid. Something wasn't right. It wasn't just another accident. It felt like something deeper. Something more dangerous was at play. As Peter continued his patrols, a strange feeling began to grow inside him. It wasn't just emotional, it was physical. His body felt different. His senses, usually sharp and reliable, started behaving unpredictably. His strength fluctuated, his reflexes lagged at times, and a strange unease settled into his bones. Something was happening to him. Desperate for answers, Peter turned to one of the few people who might understand what he was going through: Dr. Bruce Banner. Tracking him down wasn't easy, but Peter had learned how to survive on his own. When he finally stood before the brilliant scientist, he felt a mix of hope and fear. "Excuse me, Dr. Banner," Peter said cautiously. "I need your help." Banner studied him with curiosity, his analytical mind already working through possibilities. "What did you say your name was?" The question hit Peter harder than he expected. For a moment, he hesitated. It was a simple question, but it carried the weight of everything he had lost. Still, he answered, "Peter Parker." Banner nodded, though the name clearly meant nothing to him. After running several tests and examining Peter's condition, his expression grew serious. "If your DNA is mutating, this could be enormously dangerous." Those words sent a chill through Peter. Mutation? His powers had always been stable, ever since the spider bite that changed his life. But now, something was different. Something was evolving, or breaking. Banner continued, explaining the nature of spiders and their biological cycles. He said, "Spiders have 3 life cycles, and when they transition between those cycles, they can become vulnerable. It's a dangerous phase, unpredictable." Peter listened carefully, realizing what this meant. He wasn't just losing control, he was changing. And during that change, he was at his weakest. But weakness wasn't something Spider-Man could afford. Meanwhile, a new threat began to emerge in the shadows. It wasn't something Peter could see or punch or web up. It was something far more elusive, something that operated beyond the limits of his senses. People across New York City were acting strangely, as if influenced by something unseen. Fear spread quietly, like a virus no one could detect. "We are faced with a danger we can't control, And worse, we can't even see it. Peter knew what that meant. This wasn't just about him anymore. The city was in danger again, and he was the only one who could do something about it. But how could he fight an enemy he couldn't even perceive? As the pressure mounted, Peter began to struggle with himself. The line between Peter Parker and Spider-Man blurred more than ever before. His responsibilities as a hero demanded everything from him, leaving no room for the life he had lost. And yet, the pain of that loss never faded. Sometimes, Peter thought, being Spider-Man means doing the hard thing, even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart. Those words echoed in his mind as he pushed forward, refusing to give up. Even as his body changed and the world turned against him, he held on to one thing, his purpose. But just when things seemed darkest, something unexpected happened. One evening, returning to his small apartment, Peter noticed someone new across the hall. A young woman stood there, holding a small bundle of flowers. She looked familiar, though he couldn't quite place why. "Nice flowers," Peter said, trying to be polite. She smiled warmly. "Oh, they're just a housewarming gift," she replied. "I'm MJ." The name hit him like a shockwave. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. This was the girl he had loved, the one who had forgotten him completely. And yet, here she was, standing right in front of him, introducing herself as if they were strangers. "I'm just your neighbor from across the hall," she added casually. "Friendly neighbor." Peter forced a small smile, hiding the storm of emotions inside him. To her, this was a simple introduction, but to him, it was everything he had lost, standing just out of reach. Still, something felt different. There was a spark in her eyes, a subtle sense of familiarity that couldn't be explained. Maybe, just maybe, some part of her remembered. Or perhaps it was just hope playing tricks on him. Either way, Peter knew one thing for certain. This wasn't the end of his story, because just like the spiders that survived their most vulnerable phase, this moment of struggle could lead to something greater, a rebirth. And if there was one thing Peter Parker had learned, it was this. No matter how many times life knocked him down, no matter how much he lost, he would always find a way to rise again, because he wasn't just a boy trying to find his place in the world. He was Spider-Man, and the story of Spider-Man Brand New Day was only just beginning.
For full video, click related link below or like and subscribe this channel.